Let's fire up the Game Boy player so we can play Super Mario Land for the Nintendo Game Boy. This is the American version of the game, which I found on vacation when I was in Hong Kong. Ah, that's better. I used Final Cut Pro to crop off the Game Boy player border. I always find that border really annoying, especially the part where it says to press the Z button for options. Couldn't they just tell you that in the manual or something? Is it necessary to constantly keep it up there? I'm just saying, if it was me, I think I'd do away with the border and let the game speak for itself. Or at least give people the option of turning it off. That's all I'm asking for. Options. Are options okay? Anyway, enough about the Game Boy player. Let's talk about the game inside. You know, I was really looking for this game because I love the classic 2D Mario games, but I've played the NES and Super Nintendo ones so many times, I just wanted to try something different. Not a lot different, but, you know, a little different. And that's exactly what Super Mario Land is. It's classic 2D Mario, but different. Not a lot different, but a little different. And I admire that Nintendo actually went out of their way to do something different. They could have just taken Super Mario Bros. For the NES, hacked it up and spit out a half-assed version on the Game Boy, and I'm sure it would have sold gangbusters. People had low expectations for portable machines back then. I had a portable game of Gauntlet from Tiger Electronics, and it was a total piece of garbage. Even watching white noise on a Game Boy would have been light years ahead of that thing. So what's different about Super Mario Land? Well, there are new levels, a new premise, new types of enemies, and also some fantastic new music. Overall, I think it's really well put together. The physics are a little different from NES Mario in the way he jumps and falls, but I can't honestly say they're better or worse. They're just a little different. The fireballs shoot differently, and there's this little bonus game at the end of the level that helps you get more lives. There aren't as many levels as the NES Mario games, possibly due to this being a Game Boy launch title, but what's here is absolutely solid. I really enjoy it. Consider it quality over quantity. If I have one criticism, however, it's that there are a couple of spots in the levels where it's easy to fall victim to a cheap death, for example due to a floor giving away suddenly. Once you know about these spots, it's easy enough to remember them and avoid them, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of cheap deaths in my level designs. The graphics are simple yet pleasing in that timeless Mario fashion. They're ideal for simple portable screens, especially the screens they had back then. I mean, people call the Game Boy black and white, but I'm sure, as you already know, the original Game Boy wasn't black and white at all. It was actually really dark green on top of really light green. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. Super Mario Land worked back then, and it works today. The sound is gloriously true 8-bit. I don't know how else to describe it. Like I said before, the music is fantastic, the sound effects are great. Everything is just pitch perfect in that regard, no complaints. It's also in true stereo, which, you know, that was a big deal back in those days. I really enjoy the vehicle stages of this game. I've never been a big fan of the swimming levels in 2D Mario. I find them awkward to control. But here, instead of swimming, you have these wonderful 2D side-scrolling shooter segments. I really enjoy 2D shooters, and I gotta say, this isn't quite as exciting as Death Smiles or Mars Matrix or some of the other 2D shooters that are out there, but they're still fun to play. And they also remind me just a little bit of the vehicle sections from Alex Kidd in Miracle World on the Sega Master System, which I played a lot back in the day. Remember Alex Kidd? Master System? Yes? No? Surprisingly, I don't know too many people who have this game. It apparently sold a lot of copies, so there must be a lot of people out there who've played it. But amongst my circle, once Tetris came out for the Game Boy, the Game Boy machine itself simply became the Tetris machine. You bought your NES for Mario, and you bought your Game Boy for Tetris. And you bought your Sega Game Gear for... Well, nobody really bought a Sega Game Gear, did they? I guess there's that mystery solved. Okay, getting back to the game. I really think more people should play this game. 2D Mario is a hot property these days. Just look at the sales of New Super Mario Bros. For the DS and Wii. They sold, I don't know, like a gazillion copies each. Recently, this game has been re-released on the Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console. And you know, I think there are plenty of old-school Mario fans out there that would really enjoy this game. Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. It's all the fun of classic 2D Mario, but different. Not a lot different, but a little different. I'm the Expanded Gamer in Asia. Thanks for watching.